Greetings, I'm Dr. Sean Reed, author of the Dating Toolbox, available on Amazon.com. So guys, if you like what you see, what you hear today, please hit that like and subscribe button. And we want to build a community of men learning how to get women to love us and stay in love with us. Okay, so today I want to talk about the fact that you can be successful with women. I see so many guys who become brainwashed into thinking that they cannot become successful with women when the truth is that you can. All you need is a system. You need a systematic program to learn how to develop attraction in women. And this program is a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is something that you can learn if you discipline yourself and you work hard at it. Okay, so basically I'm going to go over my story a little bit and how I went from being a complete failure to being very successful with women. And, of course, my story is going to have implications for you. You can learn these things in your own life. So basically my story was I was actually naturally pretty good with women. At the age of 19 and 20, I was going out to clubs, I was going to parties, I was meeting women, I was picking up on women. I didn't have a system, but I was naturally charismatic. I was a cute little kid. I wrestled all throughout high school. I started weight training when I was 13. So I was very successful, but I also got very involved with drugs and alcohol. I started smoking marijuana, I think, at the age of 13, and I was a daily smoker. And then around the age of 18 is when I started drinking, and that's really what undid me. But by the age of 19, I think I was only drinking about 3 or 4 beers a day. So I was still very successful with women for quite a time, well into my 20s. It wasn't until about the age of 25 that my life had really become overtaken by alcoholism and drug addiction, especially alcohol. I was drinking 15 beers a day, and I was basically just a loser locked in his rat-infested apartment. So I'd gone from being pretty naturally successful women to pretty unsuccessful. Then I got clean and I got sober, but by my early 30s, by my mid-30s, I had quit drinking and I'd put all that other stuff behind me. But I was still very unsuccessful with women because I didn't really have a system. I didn't have a program. I did have a system. I did have a program. The program was Alcoholics Anonymous, and I would apply all these 12-step principles to my dating life. And I will tell you that these 12-step principles are great for getting sober, but they're horrible for dating. And basically what happened is I had become a complete simp. We're rigorously honest. So that means the moment I meet a woman, I'm rigorously honest about all aspects of my life. I don't manipulate. I don't do this. I don't do that. And the result was I was a complete failure with women. When I started dating, I was getting dumped left and right, and I couldn't understand. I'd become this great guy. I was clean, I was sober. I was in a PhD program. I was a bodybuilding champion. You would think, based on paper, that I looked pretty good, that I should be successful with women, but I was not. Just to give you an example of my behavior, my first girlfriend, after I got clean and sober, and I went through my divorce, I mentioned that I had an early divorce. I'd been very successfully and happily married for over 18 years, but I went through a divorce. And so by the age of 35, I was clean, I was sober, I was newly divorced, and I was dating again, and I had become a complete failure with women. I remember my first girlfriend, she was this gal, she was a doctor, she was in residency, and she used to get off residency at 6 in the morning every day, and she would call me at 6 in the morning, and I would wake up and take her phone call, and I would hang on that phone. I would talk to her till she was tired of talking to me. So I'd spend 30, 40 minutes just sitting there talking, being at her beck and call. I was seeing her 2 or 3 times a week, and looking back now, it should be no surprise that she became bored with me and she dumped me. Okay. So around this time, I started to wonder, what is going on here? I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to. I'm being nice. I'm being respectful. I'm being a gentleman. I'm being honest. I'm being transparent. Well, what I know now is that those things aren't necessarily the best things for a relationship. The key to a relationship for men is challenge and driving a woman's interest level up. So what happened is I wanted to figure out how to become better with women. So being an academic, like I said, I was well along in a PhD program at that point. I started reading all the academic literature on relationships, and I started to apply it, and it was terrible. I didn't get much better with women from reading all these different books by John Gray. John Gray had one good idea in all his books, and that is that when a woman comes home to talk about her day, you should listen. But basically, everything I read was useless. So what happened is I got involved in the seduction community, a bunch of guys that were into just seducing women. And I didn't want to just seduce women. I wanted to build interest level for a long-term romance, but there was a lot I could learn there. I also got into the study of the composition of the female brain, the difference between white matter, the difference between gray matter, and I learned that female brains were different from male brains. They're process-oriented. So I developed a system based upon seduction community, based upon the structure of the female brain, and I designed that system, and finally I started having success. But this did not happen overnight. Like I said, it's a marathon, okay? What I did as I learned to build my self-value, that's what you guys must do. Build your self-value, okay? We all know about working on our career and building our career, but you also have to go to the gym. Go to the gym, put in the reps, develop your body, eat a good diet. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. None of this happens overnight. Like I said, it's a marathon. You're not going to go to the gym and then 2 weeks later come out looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're going to go to the gym and you're going to work hard over an extended period of time. Say you want to gain 10 pounds of muscle and lose 15 pounds of fat. It's not going to happen overnight. As a matter of fact, it'll probably take 2-3 years, but it's a long game. You will become more successful. The same thing about women. It's not going to change overnight. You've got to get in and you've got to discipline yourself, right? I talk all the time about how the first thing you need to do is you need to become successful at starting conversations with women. This is a skill that can be developed, right? You become better at storytelling. You become better at opening women, okay? Then from there, we start to learn how to manage a relationship. You learn the most important thing in a relationship is a woman's interest level. It's not communication, and it's not any of that other stuff that PhD psychologists and psychiatrists like to talk about. It's interest level, the degree to which a woman likes you or doesn't like you. That's it, guys. That's everything. And you have to discipline yourself. And whenever you do something, you always have to ask yourself, will this drive her interest level up or will it drive her interest level down? Okay? So if I'm calling a woman every night, does that drive her interest level up or does it drive it down? It drives it down. Okay? If I'm telling her my whole life story on the first date, does that drive her interest level up or does it drive it down? It drives it down. I maintain a sense of mystery, challenge. That's what drives a woman's interest level up. You're not going to be a simp like I talked about. I was a simp. At the age of 35, I was divorced and I was a complete simp. Yet I developed these skills over time. By the way, guys, I did not really get good with women until I was well into my 40s. So again, understand that you as a man, that your value increases over time. It does not drop off after 30. It actually increases. So in your 30s and your 40s, if you play your cards right, your value increases with women. That's another point of mine. So over time, your value increases. When does a man's value start to drop off? Maybe late 50s. I don't know. I think mine is, I'm 62 and now Father Time is really starting to do a thing on my face. So I would say I'm at the point now in my life where, yeah, my value is dropping, but I still keep my wife in love with me. By the way, the picture I'm using on my thumbnail, that's my wife. She is much younger and she's beautiful, yet she stays with an older and not so good looking guy like me. Why? Because I know how to drive her interest level up. It's all about increasing her interest level. Okay, guys? So again, you can become successful with women, guys. It's all about discipline, hard work, developing a system like the one I developed, adhering to the rules and getting your reps in, being patient, building your ability with women over time, becoming disciplined. Success will come. It won't happen overnight, but eventually you'll be getting lots of phone numbers. Eventually you'll be getting lots of dates. Eventually you will have a 3-woman rotation. These are all things that every guy, no matter what, can achieve if he does the work. And that all starts, guys, with making that decision not to give up. Okay? So I know the cards are stacked against us today, guys, but we still can become extremely successful with women if we adhere to a system.